Talking about benefits is a very sensitive subject, particularly when it comes to talking about benefits for people who are disabled or unable to work due to physical or mental disabilities. But a recent report has said that now 1 in 10 working age adults in the UK is now claiming disability benefits. This is an increase of 150% of people under 40 claiming disability benefit and claiming that they are unable to work for whatever reason. And I know firsthand, and certainly I won't be mentioning any names, people that massively fall into this category, people who have become very aware of how the system works, people who are now earning more on the sick, so to speak, than they were when they were in full-time employment. And as much as it sickens me, and I certainly think the opportunities for this kind of manipulation of the system should be unavailable, I can't really blame those people who have decided to stop paying into the system and rather start extracting the money that they've spent many, many years paying into, particularly when they see others around them doing exactly the same thing. The headline reads that soft touch Britain, and dare I say we are a soft touch on many, many groups of people, not just those who are claiming some sort of disability benefit. Now, 1 in 10 working age Britons are claiming disability benefits, as claims made by under 40s shoot up by 150%. That equates to about 3.9 million people under the age of 40 who are now claiming some form of incapacity benefit. The number of Britons receiving disability benefits has soared, though no such rises have been recorded in other developing countries. Now, that's a very, very key statistic, isn't it? Because you'd think if it was some sort of human genetic condition or some sort of degenerative illness or something that was, for example, based on the fallout from the COVID pandemic of a few years ago, that this would be impacting far more than the UK. However, as the title suggests, in soft touch Britain, we are very, very keen, particularly under Labour governments, dare I suggest, to throw money at anyone who pleads some sort of disability or indeed some sort of disadvantage in life, be that based on their physical abilities, their mental abilities, or certain protected characteristics, which means they are, in theory at least, discriminated against. 1 in 10 of the working age population, around 3.9 million people, is now receiving incapacity handouts. The Institute for Fiscal Studies also shows a 150% increase in the new disability claims from the under 40s in the past 4 years, a sharp rise in the number of benefit applications on mental health grounds. The very cynical part of me would suggest that claiming disability benefit on mental health grounds must be significantly easier than on physical grounds. Physical disability is far easier to prove or disprove when it comes to making a claim than a mental health condition which can be somehow exaggerated or be, in many cases, completely feigned. This isn't to undermine those people with genuine mental health issues which prevent them from working. However, dare I say that in the vast majority of instances, those who are indeed suffering from mental health issues are not completely incapable of work, whilst there are some exceptions. However, the research highlights how benefit claims are going up at a much faster rate in Britain than elsewhere, even though other comparable countries have also seen an increase in reported disability cases. And I think a lot of that might be due to the increase in mental health awareness, which is not overarchingly a particularly bad thing. However, it has led to a massive increase in self-diagnosis, or indeed for those people who are seeking a diagnosis for, dare we say, nefarious means. This will inevitably feed into the growing perception that the UK welfare system is open to manipulation by slackers. And I made a video not that long ago talking about a lady who had 4 children and was claiming disability benefit and claiming free housing from the government, nay taxpayers, despite putting herself in the living situation she was currently under. The IFS revealed the total of those on health-related benefits has risen by 38% from 2.8 million in just 4 years. I can't think of anything that would increase that number by 38% in the space of 4 years. So this can either be an increase in awareness, if we're going to be kind, of certain health issues, including mental health issues, or dare I suggest it's simply an increase in awareness of how the system can be played in order to stop yourself from having to get up and go to work. Sorry to interrupt the video. Only 5% of the people who watch these videos regularly are actually subscribed. If you don't mind just hitting that subscribe button, it's completely free, there's no obligation, you can unsubscribe at any time, and there would be no hard feelings from me. There's also a link in the description below if you fancy buying me a pint. It says buy me a coffee, but a pint's much better, isn't it? Particularly on a warm day like today. Anyway, back to the video. Real-term spending on such benefits over this period has increased by a third, so a similar amount, from 36 billion to 48 billion pounds a year, and is expected to hit 63 billion by 2028. The fact it's expected to hit that number means they quite clearly don't have a huge amount of desire or indeed any form of agenda for dealing with some of the fraudulent claims. And it doesn't matter how cynical you are, you don't have to be as cynical as me to understand that for that level of expenditure, many of the claims, or at least a handful of the claims, are going to be fraudulent. The increase in claims has occurred in every local authority in England and Wales, apart from in the City of London, and the official forecast is further growth. There are now 20 authorities where more than 1 in 7 16 to 64-year-olds, basically the working age, claim health-related benefits, up from 2 before the pandemic. In contrast, claimant counts have fallen or remained flat in most comparable countries. Again, this definitely shows that the British benefit system and the way we support people who claim for disability or mental health issues in this country affects the number of people who decide they're going to put in a claim. The share of people reporting disabilities has also increased in the UK and comparable countries, though the UK's rise has been faster than average. John O'Connell from the Taxpayers Alliance said the unprecedented rise in demand placed on the state is clearly unsustainable. And I said this in a previous video, that I get the feeling with this sort of level of immigration, both legal and illegal, we're experiencing, and the way we are supporting those people, the increase in benefit payouts, another 4 or 5 years of a Labour government, it feels that the only people who are going to be paying for the roof over their head and the food in their stomach will be those people who go out with an increasing workload, working more and more hours to support their families in a legitimate and admirable way. The number of new disability benefit awards, and I think that word award there speaks volumes, made to the under 40s has grown from 4,500 a month in 2019-2020 to 11,500 a month in 23-24, just showing the sheer influx of the amount of people who are trying to jump on the benefits gravy train that Soft Touch Britain is providing those people who just simply can't be bothered to work. And you know what? In some capacity, I don't blame them. I've been working all my adult life, and when I look around and I see the lives that people are living who aren't working, I wonder why I bother. Health Secretary Wes Streeting promised reform and added, failed to act, and by the end of this Parliament, 4.3 million people could be worse off sick. Look, none of this is to detract from people who are genuinely unable to work due to severe disability, and that can be a mental disability as well as a overt physical one. However, there does need to be discouraged from people who just chance their arm and put in a claim and hope for the best. And in many instances, and I've seen this in my own personal life with people that I know, so many of these claims are accepted. And this extends to disability benefit, housing benefit, and even things like Motability cars. People are getting free cars for claiming some form of disability, even if that disability doesn't leave them immobile. Like the health service in this country, the benefit system needs massive reform. It should remain there, and it should be there for the people who need it. However, what needs to happen is that the people who don't need it and the people who want to play the system should be forced to go and find an alternative. And dare I suggest that in most instances, that alternative is to benefit society, to add to society, and to work for your living and work to support your families. Stay safe, stay sane, everyone.